I just wanted to go over with you and revisit the Heisman race, because we did have a conversation about the Heisman race the past couple of days ago. So we both agreed that Travis Hunter is the front runner, and Travis Hunter is a two-way player from the University of Colorado. He plays wide receiver and he plays cornerback, and he's exceptional at both. But there are other candidates that are involved that I want to bring to the forefront. So here's the deal. You have Shedur Sanders, who's the star quarterback for Colorado. Total pick, as far as I'm looking at, his first pick in the NFL draft. So how would you put in order these names that I'm going to throw at you? So I'm going to throw at you Travis Hunter. I'm going to throw at you Shedur Sanders. I'm going to throw at you Cam Ward. And I'm going to throw at you Boise State running back by the name of Ashton Jeanty. And I hope I pronounced Ashton's name right, because he is one hell of a running back. And we did get a comment on one of our shorts on why Ashton Jeanty's name wasn't brought up, and it should have been brought up. 1,893 yards on the ground. 26 touchdowns. I mean, this is just crazy numbers. 26 touchdowns in one. That is freaking crazy. You tell me, where does he fit into this equation?
Well, I think he's fighting for the third spot. I think he's fighting for the third spot still. Despite the massive and stellar year he's having, he's still fighting for the third spot. And I'm going to tell you why I say that. You have Hunter is just flat out balling, man, on both sides of the ball. Last week and the week before, he was out one play in 4 quarters. Man, you got to be a beast to do that. It runs full speed every play, every down. And I'm going to tell you right now, if he don't even walk away with it hands down, is a travesty, man. That, I mean, is no ifs and buts about it. And I'm going to finish with that. I'm going to finish because nobody else can't do that. You just look at the history of football, and you can look at the history of all players that did that when they went both ways on both sides of the ball. None of them played that many minutes. At all. Never. You talk about even Deion himself, who was a straight baller, but he didn't play every down, every play of the game. This guy made massive plays. I mean, you got to remember something also. He's the causing of them being 8-2. There's a lot of those games, it was left up to him to make a stop on defense or a catch on offense. So these other players that you got on this list, they got to be on the list, but in terms of just winning, nah. Ain't nobody gonna win it but him. I don't care how much you hate Deion, they got to give it to this dude.
Okay, so back on behalf of Ashton Jeanty, looks like he's played at Boise State for 2 years so far.
Okay.
In 2 years, technically he has over 4,000 yards rushing. Does that sound, I mean, does that sound like he should be in the top 2 to you? Because to me, when you have a running back gaining yardage like that, and by the way, he reminds me a lot of Jay Ajayi. You remember Jay Ajayi?
Yep.
Who used to play for Boise State, another legendary running back out of Boise State. Jay Ajayi, he ran angry. And it looks like Ashton Jeanty is the same. He runs angry. He's not going to let a defender tackle him if he can do anything about it. And you got to give this kid some credit, man, that he is right in the thick of it along with Travis Hunter. So if you ask me my choices right now, I would say Travis Hunter 1, and I would say Ashton Jeanty is 2. And Shedur Sanders is 3, and Cam Ward is 4. But that all depends now on what's going to happen when these playoffs start, because these teams are going to start getting eliminated out of these playoffs. By the way, secondary to what I just said earlier, Boise State is in the Mountain West Conference. So here we go about conferences again. We had that conversation about conferences where we talked about
When
the
I
Big
look
Ten,
at
we
the
talked about
schedule,
the SEC,
look
and
at
we
the
talked
schedule.
about the Big 12, right?
Mhm.
And the ACC, of course, because the ACC is a very legitimate conference for football, although it's really considered more basketball heavy than it is football. They still have a lot of good football teams in the ACC. To be able to slot a Mountain West team in, and to me, they played their schedule out. They won pretty much all of their games except for one, and they lost by 3 points to the number one team in the country. So it's, even though they're in the Mountain West Conference, maybe people who are going to vote on it might add that to the equation that the Mountain West is not as strong a conference. Plus, Boise State hadn't played a lot on TV. You know, they do factor that in
That's a
some
huge
too.
That's
The
a huge factor.
exposure of TV exposure. And, you know, we'll just have to wait and see how this thing plays itself out, because these playoffs is going to really shape a lot of things up. And
You
shake a lot of
correct
things
them.
up as well.
Well, you got to remember Colorado got 2 games too, and they are in the hunt for the playoffs as well. So you don't think that they're going to be playing at a high level to get
Of
in
course.
position for the playoff also? So
Of
don't
course.
just
Of
count
course.
them out saying
I'm
that
not.
you think Jeanty going to be just taking it by storm. I respect the running because I was a running back too. When I start watching his clippings, man, he just run like a madman. For real. But I'm not going to put him no further where he is now. He's 4. Because
Okay.
he don't play on TV as much as the rest of these guys, and he's not getting that much exposure. I'm talking about who's going to win the thing, not just flirting around with form be on TV. I'm just saying this guy is a good running back. I love the way he runs. He does everything that I like as a running back. He's not going to get the Heisman Trophy. I'm telling you that right out.
Well, he's definitely going to be up there high in the running, as I said earlier, because I haven't seen Boise State play this year, so that kind of, you know, why I didn't bring his name up, as opposed to the first time that we had the conversation about the top 3 Heisman candidates. Travis Hunter is just in a class all by himself. He sticks out. He's a two-way player, and I concur with you that he is definitely going to be hard to nudge him aside because of what he's done on both sides of the ball. Both sides of the line of scrimmage is going to be really difficult to move him out of the way for Heisman.
He even promoting it now. You know what I mean? When he catches a touchdown, guess what he does? He does it to boom. And the end zone with
The
the
Heisman
ball. Because he
pose.
knows got to give it up. You got to give it up. You got to give it up.
Exactly.
And all of his players come running down there, getting their women do just like this. Boom. You got to give this thing up because I deserve it. You what? He's lobbying for it. He's doing the right thing about it. And he's carrying himself like a good start, too. He's not getting in trouble and all this kind of crap. He's just showing his thing on the football field. So what? I'm going to bet you on that.
We'll see. I mean, Colorado has Kansas this upcoming week. They're on the road at Kansas. And Coach Prime, once again, is definitely got that team on point. He's got them ready to play. And they're gonna be a force to be reckoned with by the end of the season, moving into these college playoffs. And even if they don't reach that playoff series, they have exceeded expectations 10 times over. Or you know, his ability to be able to turn a team around like he did for Colorado that was downtrodden and down on their luck before he got there. And it's just like night and day now with what he's built there. And he's built his own legacy. And that leads me back to this. We'll revisit Jerry Jones. Okay, so there is conversation that Deion should be a serious candidate for that particular job with the Dallas Cowboys. Prime, don't do it. Prime, do not do it. I'm telling you, Prime, don't do it. Stay at Colorado. Stay at Colorado because it's not worth that headache of going to the Dallas Cowboys and having to deal with a personality like Jerry Jones and having him, you know, probably talk to the media and saying things that you might not even agree with. Prime, don't do it. Just don't do it.
You can tell Prime not to do it all you want. You can tell him that. But I'm going to tell you this. This morning, one of the first things I seen when I turned on the sports channel is the playmaker with that number 4 rinse in his hair claiming that his sources telling him that Deion going to be the next head coach. I mean, I didn't see a speck of gray nowhere in the top of his head, not the edges or anything. That number 1 color, that that star-looking color was all over his head, and he was yelling, Deion, going to be the next coach of the Dallas Cowboys. So he went be in Deion's ear. You what?
Well, I'm going to say it once, and I'll say it again. Prime, don't do it. And this is the reason, the main reason why not to do it. Why would you step from the college level where you have these kids admiring you, doing exactly what you tell them to do, and they follow suit to go to the professional ranks which you played in all those years, and you were a great, all-time great on defense and sometimes on offense, because they would put Prime on offense too, and he would catch touchdowns here and there when he played for Atlanta those years, and when he went to San Francisco, and then when he played Dallas. Why would there be a need for Prime to go to the professional ranks where you got to deal with salary cap issues? You got to deal with Jerry Jones. You got to deal with hard-headed athletes who ain't going to listen to you because they make just as much money, if not more than you, and they'll tell you to go F yourself. It happened to Nick Saban. It happened to Steve Spurrier.
Yep.
And it happened to several other coaches at that professional level. And those coaches got to that level and they realized, man, what have I done? I done made a massive error coming to the professional ranks and having to deal with this headache of having to deal with a general manager. And the Dallas Cowboys is general manager is the owner. Usually the owner of a professional team, the general manager is a buffer between the coach and the owner. The owner is the general manager. Where's the freaking buffer? Where's the buffer? Tell me.
I second you on that. And I'm going to tell you why I say that. You got one of the top candidates in high school is already committed to them to replace Shedur when he leaves. So this guy is counting on Deion being there. And I'm going to tell you this, you know how those kids will pop out and go somewhere else if that head coach is not going to be there. So if he ain't leave, and he's going to have to do that soon too, right after the season is over, because they're going to want to get everything in place to make that transition. So I would totally second you on that. I think he needs to stay exactly where he is, man, because I listen to him, I watch his coaching philosophy, and those older adults, I don't think that's going to work. I don't think they're going to listen to him. I don't think they're going to have that same type of pride like these young kids do when they're trying to get to that next level. And it's almost like a tactic and a, thing where you play with somebody's psyche in their mind in college football. And those younger kids bought into him already. And he need to keep it right there because he got to kick it up in another notch to go to pro and get these people to resonate with his coaching philosophy. So I think he needs to stay
school. I mean, he's old. He's about as old school as they come for a head coach. I mean, even at the level that he's at right now at Colorado, he's an old school coach. He believes in hard work. He believes in values. Dedication. He believes in all of that. And when you get to the pro level, you're dealing with hard-headed adults. They're not going to listen to you because they're making millions of dollars. And they feel like that they can jump ship too. Look, if you're not going to play me or if you're not going to treat me right, I'll go to another team. And that's how the professional ranks is. Nick Saban learned it real fast. Yeah. When he went to the pros, he was supposed to turn Miami around. And as legendary as Nick Saban is today, you would think he would have been able to pull it off. But he wasn't able to pull it off because I think he realized that you're dealing with a whole nother element of an organization versus a university. And when he went back to Alabama, complete sudden
They
domination,
start
right?
winning right away.
Right away, right off the
Yep.
top. And I can go on and on about a lot of these coaches who go from the college level to the pros, and they have not been successful. I have a message for Colorado's president, and his name is Todd Solomon. Mr. President, University of Colorado, and AD Rick George, go on and sign Prime to a new contract. Go on, keep him. That's all I can tell you, because if you sign him to a new contract and solidify that and solidify all of those assistant coaches around him, I can promise you that Colorado will be dominant in the next 5 to 10 years on that football field. With that fixed in,
Miami just did it.
Miami just did it with Mario Cristobal, right?
Yep.
Tore up his old contract and re-signed him to a massive record-setting contract to stay at the University of Miami. And
I didn't even think
I'm
Miami
actually,
got money back.
it's absolutely. And at the end of the day, it all boils down to whether a coach or whether someone that's inside of an organization feel wanted. And that's a good way to make them feel wanted, I think.
You've reached the end of another episode of the DC Stewart Sports Talk Podcast. Be sure to connect with us at Facebook and Twitter.com. Your voice is important, so head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave us a review. Catch our next episode.